All right, all right, all right. Welcome to the Parables from the Pit, another podcast here with a very good and old friend of ours, Todd Snyder. Todd Snyder, welcome to the Parables from the Pit Warrior Week podcast, man.
Thanks, Sam. Appreciate it.
It is now probably 7:30 on a Saturday. Pretty early to run a podcast, but in some cases it's just late in the day, especially in yours. So, hey, you came into Warrior Week. What number was it?
46.
Damn, 46?
Yeah.
Man, that's already like 2 years and a half.
Yep. Getting close to 3.
Shit, I thought you were in the 50s. You were 46.
Yeah.
46. I remember that. What was a special team for 40? What were you guys called?
I don't think they named us. We were so badass.
All right, who was in your Warrior Week?
Oh, man.
Just one guy, man.
Philip. We had Matt Clark.
Phil Nordgren?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Yeah.
And Alex. Matt
Diaz. Yeah. I remember.
Yeah,
I remember Nordgren under the truck. Okay, we'll get to talk about it. All right, so Dr. Snyder, let's talk about how Warrior got introduced to you. I know that you've met Garrett surfing, and I believe that's how everything started. So why don't you roll back and just tell us how Warrior Week started for you, or how you entered into Warrior, and what brought you to Warrior Week, man?
Ah, interesting. So, actually, Garrett showed up secondary. So his wife showed up first into my dental clinic. Looking for veneers. And then, for whatever reason, she was talking to him and told him to go in. So he came and saw me for veneers to actually get started with the work.
Yeah, and you had no idea who he was.
I had no idea.
Okay.
All I know is I walked to work that day. I was walking to the front door, and there was an incredible Lamborghini sitting out front. I took a photo of myself with it going, this thing's amazing. I walked inside, and I meet this guy that's all tattooed.
Yeah.
Garrett has a presence about him.
Yeah.
And I see his key fob is a Lamborghini. And so instantly I start talking about Lamborghinis. And I'm like, so what do you do? And so he says, well, you can just go look online. Go to warriorweek.com.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay. So I went and watched it, and I was like, wow. Like, I was in a place at that point, and I was like, this resonates. And this guy's got a Lamborghini, and, sounds like a good thing. So he told me he surfed, too. And he says, well, why don't you come out? And so I said, okay, we'll meet you at your house for a surf session. So I went and surfed with him once, and I was like, yeah, I want in. And he's like, okay, I can make that happen. I was like, all right. And so we surfed, I think, a second time. Or no, the first time I didn't say yes. The second time we surfed, he left early because he didn't want to kind of persuade me. He wanted me to make my own decision. And so he left early, and I was like, okay, I want in. And that's when it happened. He said, okay, it's starting right now. You need to get in. So I think I was like a week late. And so
I remember that.
Ass kicked.
Yeah. What? Obviously, you started watching some of the videos, and what resonated with you that kind of like spoke to your heart and says, hey man, I need to take a look at myself. I need to, because when you came in, life wasn't broken. It's not like shit was falling apart, but you made a decision to come in, and just like everybody else that came into this place, and like really look at yourself in the mirror. Like that was the bottom line. And I remember even having a conversation with you on our first interview, and I said, like, listen, man, I don't give a fuck if, you're Garrett's buddy and you guys swing on each other's cock in the fucking ocean while you ride your surf. This is a sacred place. Like, people don't come Warrior Week to come to some fucking Lamborghini club, right? Why the fuck are you coming in? So what was it?
You know what? I was burnt out in my career. I was stressed, and that basically cascaded over into, my marriage, my personal life. Just everything just felt stressed and overwhelming. I had so many irons in the fires trying to make so many companies basically flourish that I was going nowhere. If anything, I was going backwards. I was drowning. And so it spoke to me in the fact that, yes, I do want to be in a better place, but what I'm doing is not working. And so to have the ability to, quote, have it all, have a better relationship with your wife, have a better business, relationship with your maker, all of these things was like, okay, I need to do something different. And I think this was put in front of me for a reason. and I'm going all in.
And I specifically, I don't know, I got really good memories in two places. One is the interviews I've done. Two is the first night of Worry Week, like the pit. I remember faces, I remember conversations. Other than that, my memory is shit. Like I just, but I remember shit, and I specifically remember the feeling that I felt during our call, and I was like, man, this guy's humble, right? Because of the following. I've spoken to so many doctors, surgeons, and men that have invested over 10 to 12 years of their time in the books. Because when you look at it, man, this is, well, it's something, in my opinion, I believe, that is unspoken about the strength of a doctor or a dentist, which is the commitment that required to become that healer, that person, that expert that actually fucking fixes people. Like this is what blows my mind, man. It's just like, to be able to like cut a person and like put things together, or cut someone's mouth and do things. It's like it's someone's fucking mouth, or it's like, think about the liability, think about the risk, think about the emotional weight on errors, right? It's not some fucking, software that you may fuck up the code, or some piece of hardware or some car that you may crash. This is a person. And like, there's so much into that ecosystem that it's just beyond science, but then there's an emotional package that comes with that too. So I was in a place where, man, this guy is humble, right? Because you go through all that to build, and once you build, you have this practice, but then the practice becomes a business. So you're a doctor, you're a healer, you're a businessman. That by itself is a fuck combo right there emotionally, right? So, to some extent, I'm like, man, no wonder why so many doctors, surgeons, and dentists feel alone, because it feels like they are constantly wearing this armor, right? There's this armor you have to wear. And there's like literally not even 2 minutes in a day where you can sit somewhere and take it off. You can't take it off at home. You have to have the armor for your family. You can't take it off at work. You can take it off and fucking sleep. So I'm like, man, it requires a humble mind to go everything else that you've kind of conditioned yourself, which is this structure, analytic mindset, logic after logic, blocks of logics just building you. But then you carry this emotional weight of clients, patients. Of course, there are rewards in it too, when you heal them, and which counterbalances. But still, it's a backpack that you carry. And no one wants to fucking talk about this shit, right? No one wants to point the finger and says, hold on. It's like kind of like what's going on right now with the police officers, right? And like, man, fuck. These guys, like, they walk into civil war. That's what they walk into. They walk into a scenario. There is a child that has been raped and murdered and cut in pieces. They've just seen that scene 2 blocks away from their house. It's 5 o'clock. Next thing you know, 6:15, they're at home for dinner. How the fuck do you switch? Like, the switch, it's nothing but a fucking lie. There is no way to fucking switch. It's just pretending. So the emotional package that comes with all that, and to just recall the feeling that, okay, he's here, because he's humble. He wants to, like, let go of some of this fucking emotional package that is burning him down. Like, that's, people often use the burn down. It's not work. You love your work. You're the best at it. You're an artist. You're a healer. Like, you love your fucking, that's what you do. That's your passion. It's not, you would fucking be at work 24/7 if we couldn't stop you. Because you love it. You love it's kind of what I do. Like, okay, bro, like, meet me at 4 a.m. We'll do what we need to do. But it's the emotional baggage that's like, fuck, man. Because of that, I feel burned down. And I get that, man. Like, when you get like fucking 40 calls a day, and it's like, Coach Sam's like, nobody calls fucking Coach Sam say, hi, how are you? It's like, nobody calls 911 to say, hi, how are you? It's like, hey, man, you got 5 minutes. I go, yeah, right? So talk to me a little bit about that build up for you, man.
Well, you hit it right on the head. As a dentist, probably as a doctor as well, you're introverted. The majority of people are they're bookworms. They're trying to study things. They're not usually a social outgoing person. And to some extent, I know at least for dentistry, the tests to get into dental school are very specific, and it kind of weeds out certain people such that you get a lot of introverted, good, hand-skilled people. Now, these people obviously can't interact as well, I would say, as someone who's, an extrovert. And so with time, your whole thing, your whole artistry of building teeth and fixing things, that's who you are. And so anytime there's a problem with it, it doesn't work the way you want it, you take personal pressure because you didn't make it as perfect as it should have been. So you're beating yourself up for not being a perfectionist. Now from there, you get someone who complains that, hey, something's not going right, and you take that again personally, that I'm doing everything I can here to be the best at what I'm doing, but it's going to hurt a little bit potentially. Or, but some people are more sensitive than others. So someone, may get a paper cut and go to the emergency room versus someone else could lose a finger and they're just going to put a Band-Aid on it and keep going. So you get different types of people you have to interact with. And those will also, in my mind, steal your soul.
Mm.
And so you can imagine after a certain numbers of years where you're excited about doing dentistry and you're beating yourself up the first few years because you're such a perfectionist. And you get to the point where your perfection is a level that you appreciate. You're at a point that you're good. But patients don't know what that is. They have no idea. They just want it done and they want it to look perfect. And sometimes you can't create perfect. And so the mindset of some of these patients is that, no, you didn't do a good enough job. It should be better. And I'm like, look, I can't make it any better than this. But that, again, destroys you. And so after a few years of people beating you down, whether they know it or not, because of their ideas of what should be, and you can't get it for them, but you're also beating yourself up over time just from not being able to create perfection, and that someone's beating up your work and you're taking that as a personal attack on your body, that after 20-something years, it's like, fuck you, I'm tired of this shit. I don't want to treat you guys anymore. So I'm going to start cutting people out. No more of you patients that are pain in the asses. I'm just going to go for good people, and if I can get the good people in here, I'm just going to treat them to hell with everyone else. That's kind of where you get. And so you start throwing, maybe some problems at home that maybe started from you coming home with baggage, or maybe your wife even had a bad day too. It just happens, right? And you get enough things piled on top, and me trying to juggle numerous businesses because I like being, entrepreneurial.
Yeah.
And I do a lot of public speaking. I got so many things going on that I'm actually going backwards and drowning from doing too many things, as well as having these patients that are just destroying me. And it only takes, one or two a year that get to you and just ruin your year, such that you're now negative towards everybody that comes in. You're just so annoyed and beat down. And my wife tries to tell me, like, hey, look, there's many dental offices. She's worked in a few back in the day, and she said, look, we used to get a couple emergencies a day, a couple people complaining a day. And I know that when I used to associate in other offices. And she said, you've got it so good. You're so good at what you do that you get one or two a year, and yet you take it so personal, like you have no idea. It'd be like slaving a couple thousand hours to build something, and everyone just walks up and says, this is shit. You take it as a personal attack on you, even though you gave your heart and soul at 120%. So yeah, I was beat down and destroyed from many years of this, and not understanding necessarily why, but I thought, hey, here's maybe a way out that's being offered by Warrior.
Yeah.
And so I took it.
Yeah.
And obviously I see things totally differently.
Yeah.
It's been amazing.
You talk about it like there's multiple characters inside of you, and we'll take it about. There's obviously, like, well, you guys don't know, but there's a crazy motherfucker inside of you that goes racing Lamborghinis and dirt bikes, and I don't know what else to fucking do, man. Jumping from planes and some shit that we're gonna probably find out in the podcast. But there's this crazy soul inside of you, right? That guy that pushes on the edge. There is the calculated doctor, right, which is like procedural. And just outcome is very clear, right, based on the procedure. And then there is the healer, right, the heart that kicks in and you take away pain, and then you enhance that by getting into beauty, right, recognizing the pain of beauty and how some people beat themselves up because for years they lack confidence in their smile and how that affects them. And so you went after that. And then after being a healer, so now we're talking about multiple fucking characters here, right? And the final piece is the artist, right? This is the grand masterpiece. It's the artist that can heal. It's the artist that is the doctor, is the artist that is a crazy motherfucker that races in Lamborghinis and wins, by the way. And it's the artist that actually creates, right? This is the art of beauty at the end of it. Like all your experiences comes back to the edge of your fingers. And I know you guys are really big on your hands. In fact, we got a guy that plays for us with soccer 7 years. He never wants to go fucking goalie. He's a dentist. He goes, no, my hands. Well, I go, I get it, man. So everything comes to these fingers, right? And like these fingers now are like the agency of your art, right? The agency of your art. And this comes in, and like any other artist, no matter how much people say like your art is amazing, you'll start looking at the one thing that didn't work versus everything else that actually worked. And there is a self-sabotage there. It doesn't matter how much I tell you, Garrett tells you, your wife tells you, anybody else tells you. You just like, it's just such a perfectionist mind that you beat yourself up, right? So you come to Warrior Week, man, and you deal with this, right? You deal with this truth that is not hidden from you, but it's inside of you. But it's like, fuck, man, I have nowhere to tell my fucking story, just the way it is, just right now. Everywhere else I go, I gotta put the suit on. I gotta be the speaker on the stage, and therefore, I don't want to really like talk about this. And we'll find out that things have changed. But I remember specifically on our interviews, like your schedule was a fuck show at that time. Oh, I got to go here. I got to go there. I got to speak. I'm like, I don't give a fuck where you speak. You need to fucking cancel this thing. In fact, I think you did cancel.
I did. Yeah.
So I'm like, hey, man, this is your first test, right? You want to get rid of this fucking like habits that you put yourself in. And I'm not saying it's bad or good. I'm just saying it's not fucking working because we're talking right now. And you did cancel, and that was, how did it feel, man, to cancel it, just go to Warrior Week, like just the whole fucking experience?
Well, I tell you, not knowing what I was walking into to cancel something that was guaranteed money was kind of like, okay.
What the fuck am I getting into?
Exactly. So, I was definitely conflicted with all the different things I was doing. And to just drop some stuff and start doing Warrior was interesting because, here, doing your own thing for many years, to instantly stop and have someone tell you what to do was tough for me. And so basically get kicked first day from Coach Cullen was not easy. And we definitely, he was able to bring out a part of me that was pissed, and he helped me see that. But I did not like going through that the first couple weeks, the lead up to it.
The lead up, yeah.
Oh man, there was definitely some stressful days at home and just being pissed more so than normal. It was brutal, but it was what I needed to do to expose things that you're not aware of, and to see where you're lying to yourself every day about where you should be and what you should be doing, and yet you have all these stories as to why it won't happen or why it's not for you. So it was interesting. That whole lead up was very unique.
I remember you were committed to the lead up, and I remember you just wanted to get it done, right? You were not going to be the guy that's going to miss, because this was a daily fucking assignment, and you're like, fuck, man, my schedule, so you had to wake up pretty early, get it done, not for the purpose of getting it done, because you got your balls, kicked the first day or two that you did that. But you would be very consistent on just doing that. And I think one of the days the scheduling fucked up and didn't release the assignment on time, and that fucked your day because you all, it was all scheduled. Like, I wake up, I'll do the fucking work, no problem. And then you're like, fuck you, motherfuckers, where is the assignment?
Exactly. Yes.
So obviously, we had a glitch, but it's the buildup. It's Warrior Week. There are no glitches. It was all meant to be. It's like... And that was a big day for you, man, with the fuck yous back and forth. Just like you're frustrated because that thing is not there, and you're going with the system, and the system is now flipped on you as changed. Talk to me about that day.
Oh, that day was.
I got good memories. I told you, bro.
Yeah. Yeah, I would get really frustrated because I'm such a perfectionist as an introverted kind of artist type thing that I want to do things exact. And when things aren't exact, that creates chaos in my world.
Like me not being here exact at 4:00 for a podcast yesterday. But you were I was very surprised. You acted You did not act it as a perfectionist yesterday. You had grace, my friend.
Thank you. Thank you. Things have changed a lot, obviously. Yeah, there was that day we had a bunch of stuff going on, and yeah, the assignment didn't come out. And when it did come out, I did mine, and someone was calling me out saying I didn't do it. And I was like, fuck you. I did do it. Go check again. You're the asshole that didn't see it. And I just went off because it was just so stressful.
Unfair.
Yeah. And it was totally unfair, but I was like just done at that point. I was so pissed off. And I think the other thing is just the escalation of pain and problems leading up to that day from the I don't know, week or two, whatever we'd already been doing the lead up. And so, yeah, then I got my shit kicked really good. But yeah, I was pissed because, I did the work like I was supposed to. I did it on time and everything was there. So I thought I made one mistake. And I think I posted it in the wrong spot. I think I didn't post for everyone. I think I posted on my page, and so they couldn't see it.
Yeah.
And so again, it was on me.
So they picked on that one thing.
And they fucking buried me. Yeah.
All right. So, so the build-up was not easy. I remember that. And most of the surgeons and the dentists and the doctors and even the chiropractors that came into Warrior Week, they've all had the same situation that you because of the schedule just dictating life, and that is one of the biggest thing that gets exposed in that process. Is like, fuck, the schedule is running my life, and I kind of knew that, but now it's like I can see it as a mini movie, watching myself suffering in this, that I can't even do this daily. Then who am I to even think that I could do other shit when this thing is choking me? So you come to Warrior Week, and just talk a little bit about your experience. Like, you came in ready to do this, and who was the man that came out on the other side?
Shit. I went in as a couple different men. I came out with one solid individual at that point. Yeah, I had a lot of different personalities and people that I had to be. And by the time I got done, it's like, well, who is the one person you want to be?
Mm.
And so there was a lot of soul searching there as far as what do I want to do? How do I want to take everything I'm trying to do? Why am I trying to do it? To get me to a different place. So I recognize that, yes, I like to be an entrepreneur. I like to create things.
Mm.
But creation without follow-through or having too much creation where you can't fight a lot of different battles, that becomes a problem. So the biggest thing for me was to start planning, 90-day challenges, to go ahead and reverse engineer the win, and to start creating weekly doors to get through. That was the biggest thing for me is to recognize that chaos is happening, and I have so much and lack of precise or precision tactics to get something done. And I'd say that's the biggest thing for me. But it was also to recognize that I'm a perfectionist, that I need to let that go, and that it's not my problem, it's their problem. And so now it's, if you don't like it, fuck you.
Yeah.
That's pretty much where it's gone to. And so I have now removed so many things from my world that I didn't realize were pissing me off, I knew they were pissing me off. I didn't realize the effect it had on me and my soul.
Yeah.
That those are gone. So we try to weed people out in the beginning. We try to weed people out through the process. And should someone come back later on that was a problem patient, they're not allowed back in.
Yeah.
You're gone.
Yeah.
So that's made life a lot easier. But my toleration level has changed, where it used to feel like, oh, I'm beholden. I must help everyone, and I must do everything for everybody. Fuck that. It's me. It's my family. And so the king must rise and take care of his kingdom and his family. And that was the other big thing that came out of it for me. So, gosh, if we go back, I got books of things I've written, but I would say those are the biggest things for me, is to take charge of my life and my family, and to remove the people that are chaos and problems.
Yeah,
and
I would say that's the shift in Warrior, right? And during that week, it's like you become a mutant with this version of you that you left behind years before, because it's inside of you already. If you think it and you say it right there, it's always been. People think that they can change, and they're not fucking changing and transforming. They're just reminded about this guy that wants the things that they want right now. He's just there, and once they shake hand with this guy and they meet him, and like you say, like who you want to be. Like there's so many people you are, so many hats you're wearing. What is the fuck? Let's burn the fucking hat. And let's just not wear a fucking hat. Let's just be that guy, right? And so once you find that, then you find this operating system, and you found it at Warrior Week. You come in and you go through the structure of the Kingdom Challenge. You come back, the Return of the King event, amazing fucking day where you fill yourself up with just like the work that was done, right? And then you made a choice, and at that time the choice was to become a certified trainer. Now, everything in the world didn't make sense for you to pick that challenge upon you, right? Because like, okay, dude, I don't want to fucking, I got my business to run. I know who the fuck I am. Why am I fucking creating more problems? And at that time, there was a feeling that, hey man, I'm just called to do this because nobody else, not Sam, not Garrett, none of these motherfuckers in the room can actually lead from the pain that I've experienced in the past 20, 25 years. And if there's anybody that can help continue fucking healing pains, and this is a psychological pain, this is a emotional pain, this is a spiritual pain to some extent, a fucking lack of spirituality. So many doctors and dentists are disconnected from God spiritually because it's not in their schedule. That's all. That's all. It's not like it's not in the schedule. So the schedule fucking dominates, and they go years until something happens and they go back on their knees, they pray. Something bad happens, or, but other than that, it's not in the schedule. So, time goes by. Time takes over. And so time ends up being the biggest thing that fucks you. Time fucked you. Time fucked me. Like, time is a fucker. Like, it fucks you until you start like owning it. And it's a beautiful thing because then you can say, what is time? I don't know what the fuck is time. Does it even exist? Is it a concept that we created as men to just create structure? Imagine there was no time. Imagine there was no schedule. Imagine there was no fucking, like, we created structure. But where did it come from? And why did we create it? And is it serving us? We never asked these questions in the modern day. Because you could be a guy that could operate on a schedule that is very minimum. Like, okay, A to B, sun rises to sunset, and here's what I'm doing, right? And you can win life. Or you can be a guy that goes by minute and exactly what you're doing. It just depends how your brain is wired and how you want it to continue to be rewired. And so you come in and you feel this calling about like liberating other dentists, other doctors, surgeons, like with the same exact blueprint of pain, which you know about more than anybody else. And you created the Legions of...
It's called Legion.
Legion, just Legion. Yeah. So talk to me about your decision to create Legion. Where is Legion today? And just like, dude, like this is an opportunity. If there's like some motherfucking dentist right now is listening, and I know you are, right? And if you're not, and if you're one of our brothers that's listening to this, if you know a dentist in your world, and I know you do, just grab the link of this podcast and forward to it. It says, hey, stop everything you're doing today and listen to this, right? Listen to this because this speaks to your heart. And I was called to forward this message to you because that's what we do here. I don't want you to share this podcast on some, generic Facebook, oh, check this out. No, just take it as an arrow and shoot it in the heart of a fucking dentist right now, a surgeon, a doctor that you know. Because the words that Dr. Snyder is about to share with us, man, these are words that either resonating with you as a doctor, as a dentist, as a chiropractor, as a healer, or just as a fucking man. But for sure, if they do and you know another guy, just pay it forward. So what made you choose the calling, and where is Legion today?
So as a excuse me, as a dentist already on the speaking tour within the dental world,
yes,
I talk to dentists around the world, 30, 40 times a year.
Wow.
On how to do dentistry and a little bit of business. What we don't get any time to do is talk about us and the problems we have, the problems with insurance, the problem with family, the problem with life, and how we hold everything in. And so all that chaos that, again, if you're a dentist and you've been doing it long enough, you know what I'm talking about. Because all my colleagues want to quit after like 20 years. So you're young, you're new, you don't know what's going to happen. But trust me, in your career, you're going to get a burnout for some reason. And that is, again, all of this weight on your shoulders. And so with all my speaking, I said, okay, I want to simplify my life. I'm coming out of Warrior. I want to do less because I'm juggling too many things. I want to take my message as far as dentistry in the business, and I want to bring it online. But I want to do more than that, because all dentists go learn how to do dentistry, and they learn a little business. But no one's taken the time to talk to them about everything that I've gone through and how I personally have dealt with that. So now inside of Legion is basically giving them some of the information from Warrior as far as being a certified trainer and saying, look, you think the most important thing is to go learn more dentistry. That is the least important thing you need to be doing. You already learned the dentistry, but you need to fucking practice the dentistry. Taking more programs is not going to get you better. Doing the fucking work and practicing every night, that's what makes people great. Now, take it a step further. You're staying in the office. Your family is suffering. You're getting more stressed out. Patients are pissing you off. Insurance companies taking your money. And you wonder why things are stressful. You don't see what's in front of you. You assume this is what dentistry is and what you must continue to do the rest of your career. So at some point, you're like going to have a meltdown. You're going to maybe have a divorce. You're going to go through some problems. And what you don't realize, the problem is you. Nobody realizes that. So my goal is to say, hey, look, I'll give you the damn education. Yeah, I'm a fellow. I'm the 77th fellow ever in history in cosmetic dentistry. There are 250,000 dentists in the United States, and I'm the 77th ever. So, yeah, I can teach you some cosmetic dentistry. Anyone can do it. You just need to practice. So I can teach you that. I'll teach you some business. But more importantly, I'm going to teach you the doctrine inside of Warrior as far as what it can do to save your family, your business, and to allow you to have a good life going forward if you choose to play the game. That's the part I want to bring. And granted, it's been twisted because, as you said, how my armor had holes in it or was gone from all the holes that had been shot into it is I've built new armor, and I'm coming to help the rest of the dentists. Let me show you what you could be doing so that you're working less, you're making more, life is more fruitful, you have more time with your maker, your family, and you're passing it along to your children. All of these things are possible in dentistry, but you choose typically in dentistry to follow the herd. The sheep that are there doing the same thing, you're following them off the cliff, and you don't realize it until you're falling. Now, you may grab a branch on the fall, and you may find someone to outstretch their hand to help you and save you, but I'm telling you, stop following the herd. Time to follow someone else. My goal is to help share what I've been through, that many dentists have shared the same thing with me. Dentists don't know this is out there, and so my goal is to share that. And so I've already shared it with some of my colleagues that have come through Warrior and have experienced the same thing and went all in on themselves and on Warrior to help get them there. That's what I want to continue to do. I want to expose dentists to a better possibility and to stop playing the game that dentistry offers that is shit.
I can feel what you're expressing, and I can at the same time see how this message can pierce through the heart of somebody that is open. And on the other side, I see a bunch of fucking, especially cosmetic dentist guys that are just close to this idea. Like, no matter how much you speak of heart, at this time, it just bounces back on them, because the way they're finding release is by going in a club and buying some bottle of fucking, champagne and having a crowd, or going on a boat party, or, going on a house party, and just like thinking that that's the way to release, to, again, please others. Let me pay for the bills. Let me get this false gathering around me, so somehow, somewhere, I feel socially included. And yet come back home, and their pillow is telling them, fuck you, bro. And so I play soccer with a couple of these guys for 7 years. And for 7 years, they are rejecting this message, right? And I see them week after week exposing their character in the soccer field. Like literally wanting to kill someone because of an argument whether the ball was in or out. Like it's a friendly fucking game, first of all. There's no sliding. We're all like over 40. And so, like, but what the fuck, right? But to see a person lose it, to see a person, a professional, like, fucking attack someone else physically because of a little argument, this is an explosion of what's being held inside. And this gate that is locked, to your point, by the ideologies of the past. But here's what I know. COVID kicked everybody in the fucking balls, right? Everyone. And the dentist industry is not different, right? What do you see from your message getting through today because of kind of like COVID doing the 30-day buildup, right? Kind of what it did to you, which is that fuck your schedule. COVID kind of did that to a lot of people, which created a window right now for these people that are just closed. And I don't blame them, and I know you don't blame them, because it's years and years and years of being educated to operate that way. It's just fucking years and years. But COVID has opened a window now in their heart. What do you see in that, and what do you see Legion's, growing based on this window right now?
Well, it's interesting you bring that up because, yeah, most people are doing the same thing. And so most businesses were suffering because of this. And so you have people that are now aware, like, hey, look, my business isn't working. And so life is now getting more difficult for them. So they already had problems in their world. Now the problems are blowing up because there's less money, there's less patience, the business is faltering. So they have more on their shoulders than ever before. And so again, it's like, okay, well, obviously something isn't working. Inside my programs is let me show you how to change that. And so there are numerous different things we go over as far as how you alter your business, but more importantly, how you alter you and your mindset, because the problem lies within all of us, right? No matter what industry you're in. But for dentistry, I have a unique sense of already having done things a certain way that was different than the norm. But even then, I still needed to improve. I mean, hell, I need to improve every day, right? That's part of life, is expansion. So for me to keep exposing people where they need to change is important. But right now, it's all about being real. And so most dentists won't be real. Hell, most people on the planet won't be real. Sure. How you doing today? Oh, I'm good. Yeah, bullshit. You're walking around with all kinds of baggage. You just don't want to share it, right? We learn early on in Warrior, obviously, as you know, that we don't do this. So first thing I do is I call out the dentist, same as myself. Like, look, let me put it all on the table for you. Here's what's fucked up in my world. Now tell me yours. Don't hold back. Usually they will, right? It's like, bullshit. I know you got more. I know it goes deeper. And they start to expose more things. It's like, okay, so now that you've exposed these, how do we fix these instead of just candy coating them or burying them under the rug, right? And that goes into the business because, let's face it, good business, happy family, right? And so guys and gals right now are struggling in dentistry. So the exposure is, hey, look, now is the perfect time to change your business because you can blame it on COVID. I had to change the way we did our operatings. I had to change our policies. I had to change our pricing structure. I had to change all of this because the world just changed. Now is the most important time to make change, and you can get away with it easier than shifting in a world that was kind of going normal, and all of a sudden you tell everyone to stop and you're changing everything. That doesn't work for people. So right now is the most strategic time for you and your business to make changes. And you'll find that it works because people get it right now because every business is having to adapt and change to the world. So if you want to change your business, got to do it now, and that's what we do inside of Legion.
Beautiful, man. So you built Legion. Mark is also with you, our friend. By the way, we need to take a picture and send it to him today and have his ass also on the podcast. It's been way too long that he hasn't been here. He came to... so Mark was actually... he was your roommate back in when you were studying?
In dental school.
Yeah, in dental school. So very, very long friend of mine. I got inspired by your story.
Yeah.
Comes to Warrior Week based on the path that you've taken, and now is part of Legion with you. And obviously, he felt what you felt, and he's passionate about what you do. So I will send a picture with him, and we'll ask him to listen to this podcast as well. So if you are listening to this, fuck you, Mark, for not contacting me for a while. But I love you, bro. So amazing guy, right? I was just talking to you about him. You have a team now. And this is a business based on your passion, on your drive. And when I look back at all your engagement as as the scientist dentist that will go around and talk about it, man, there is honor in that, right? There's no doubt that there's honor in that. But that just got enhanced with Legion. And it doesn't mean that some of that is not there. In fact, that is the ultimate frame where, hey, let me talk to you about X, Y, and Z as the 77th, if you want, fellow the experts. But at the same time, let me put my fucking, recon boots on, and let me tell you, like, how life is also, with this knowledge, right? And so that's the beauty of it, right? You see the guy that is kind of recon, and you see the guy in the suit, and it's one guy. It's no longer a guy wearing different hats. It's the same fucking guy. It's the same, and the conversation is channeled. It's the same fucking voice. This is the difference that I witnessed today. Is like, you don't have to have multiple voice. You don't have the voice inside of the office, the voice with the clients that are throwing stone or complaining, the voice of the guy in the stage. Today is just one voice, and this singular voice persists, and like, you don't need to cut anything. It's just the truth itself divides, and that's the craziest part. Is like, most, like, if you study the Bible and you look at it deeply, like, it says itself. Like, Jesus says that, hey, I didn't come here to bring fucking peace. I came here to divide. And that's the thing that most people fucking ignore, to your point, disguise. It's like, there's a clear separation between lies and the truth. And at one point, a man decides to say, well, if I'm tolerating, I can't really call myself truthful, because tolerance is literally a definition of a liar, because I'm tolerating a lie. If I tolerate a lie, I am a liar, because I'm not acting upon what I want. I no longer tolerate, and I operate by the truth. There's a price that comes with that, which I separate myself from many. But then the place I am with actually people that are truthful, and that's where Legion is. That's what home is for you, right? That's what your surrounding. That's why this office is. It's like fucking minutes away from this office. That's why these relationships are. They're based on a different platform, and it's the platform of the truth. So with that being said, you continue evolving. You continue challenging yourself. Like I said, yeah, bro, crazy motherfucker. I don't know what the fuck you do with 6 or 7 dirt bikes. You got exposed when I came to your house in Vegas. I'm like, what? You do that too? And like, oh, fuck. What else you do, bro? Like, you're you race cars and you win all the time. You beat my ass in go-kart, and to some extent that I almost had to fucking steal your name or your number so that I can beat you based on forge my. But one of the challenge that I was inspired, because I've taken as well, was that last year when you took on upon yourself to take this challenge, Kokoro, right, which is this 53-hour fucking physical and soul beatdown on a search, on a personal search, on a journey for yourself. I want to talk about that because I know it's an amazing experience. I took 4 events prior to taking my Kokoro. I think it was Kokoro 46. So I took the fundamentals, which I went for 3 days. We get a taste of it, but you get to sleep at night. And so that was all right, but it was kind of fucked up because some shit happened at night. I won't spoil the surprise, but amazing experience. And then came in the experience of 20X, which was 12-hour, right? A version of it for 12 hours. I did 3 of those, and all 3 have been like incredible. And all that was building me up to Kokoro, which I signed for and I fucking worked my ass off for an entire year, only to be eliminated on day 1 after like 15 hours of just going through that. And till today, I talk about it in my book, Every Man a Leader, till today that is the biggest gift to me, because it would have been a false lift at that time, right? And the search continues for that summit. Literally, I remember that night when I was eliminated, and I was eliminated based on margins, right? And the margin was I went over by 2 minutes on Murph. And just like you, I'm not a perfectionist, but I became a perfectionist in my training for a year. So I knew Murph was one of the workouts, so I've prepared for Murph, right? And I've done it over and over and over, and I've done it in fatigue state so that I knew I could actually finish it by time, because I knew if you couldn't make it, you would be eliminated. Also, I knew what was my weakness going in, because they give you 2 chances, right? My weakness was my pull-ups, and I knew I could not do the minimum that they were asking. I said, fuck it, I'll go into this. I'll lose 1 point. So I was already coming in -1, right? And -2, you're out, which was, Murph had to be done under a certain time. So what happened was a universal gift that took place. Right before doing Murph, they did, for some fucking reason, it was me and Satema, this big other dude, like 350 pounds, football player. They did this race of sprints, which we would be like 25 guys, and, they would sprint you, I don't know, 200 meter or whatever that is, and the winners get to watch the other ones. Mm-hmm. And so we kept losing and losing because we're the heavier guys. We keep losing. It's fucking, we keep losing and losing and losing and losing. And at the end, it was like literally like everyone's laughing at us because it was just me and Satema that were left. So what that did, that completely smoked everything. Stamina, legs, everything, especially legs was just so. But then they switched us to Murph right away. Now, I've practiced this fucking Murph with a backpack of 20 pounds on pull-ups with kipping pull-ups, right? So I had it down. With kipping pull-ups, I had it down. I had the numbers. I had it down. And they noticed that we failed on our straight pull-ups. And so they made a decision, an audible, to switch. To said, okay, instead of doing Murph 60-minute with the backpack, we'll remove the backpack, but all your pull-ups are straight. But we give you 70 minutes, an extra 10 minutes. Now this completely changed the script on me, right? And so now it's a struggle and a fight. And it was a fight. It was a fight that I just couldn't win. At one point, you don't have a watch. You don't know what the fuck is going on. And you're running, almost walking, and you think that's your best. And it is, because after 15 hours of fucking beatdown. And so there it was, man, 2 minutes late. So for the next 2 hours, I didn't know what they were doing. And then at one point, they had us all lined up. There's the American flag, and we're watching the sunset. There's a speech, and that's where the separation happened. It's like you and you followed coach. He was so. And then it was like, there was this fight inside. No, let me be, fuck you, or, man, I'll never quit. I'll fucking do it anyway. While you guys are here, I'll stay here. I'll sleep on the outside, all these stupid things. And there was a coach there, Coach Derek Price. He just sat down with me, man, and he and him are very good friends. In fact, we became very, very close. And he sat down, man. He took an hour, and he just processed and just, false lift, man. It's just, if God wanted you to be inside, like, there's a bigger message for you. So that was my experience, and like I said, the path continues. I know that's something I have to finish. I just know I got to do it. Not for my ego, but there's something there, perhaps awaiting. Talk to me about your experience. Talk to me about your training. Talk to me about your learnings. Talk to me about your purpose and everything that came out of that, because I that's inspiring, and I do believe there was a lot in there for you.
Yeah, the lead up for that, having heard through Warrior that Garrett had gone through it, you and others, and I thought, okay, I want to tackle this next mountain. But obviously, I didn't want to let down anybody that was watching, because I knew, I'm calling myself out, and me, the perfectionist, doesn't want to fail. So yeah, I spent a good 10 months training, prepping, whatnot. I went so far as to stay with straight line pull-ups, and I'd put 40 pounds on my back, because I didn't know what they were going to throw at us, and I was always like, well, expect to be fucked with. I did not know that the Murph would, and the physical test as well as the Murph would come at the end of day one after, 10 hours of beat down, that now you get to do it. I did not know you had to have that kind of strength within, so that became interesting also. But ever since the training, I pushed myself every morning. I was committed. I had my goals that Warrior instilled in me to plan for my attack and how I was going to do it, and I made sure to overplan, because who knows what's going to happen. So my mindset was already set up, and I put the training in front of me such that I could perform well. But you never know until you get there. So having gotten there, the first thing they do is they fuck with your mind, and I figure, okay, well, my mind's been fucked with so much inside of Warrior and inside of myself on its own that you can't touch me. You know, I already have that built in me. So that aspect actually was great going into it, is that they couldn't mess with me mentally. They could only mess with me physically at that point because I could shut them out. But man, the physicality of them yelling at you and spraying water on you, and after a while, it does take its toll. Like, shit, am I going to get through this? And it's just you fighting you because you're not really allowed to talk to people. So you're battling your own demons. And I would say, again, they tell you, what is your why, your reason, your purpose. If you don't have that solidified, you're definitely going to take a walk down the wrong road in your mind, and that's going to set you up for failure. So for me, the purpose was my family. I'm doing this for them. I'm doing it for myself as well, but I'm doing it so that I can lead, and that I have the mindset, the power within to keep myself going, knowing that life's going to throw me curveballs, knowing that no matter how much I prep, you can't prep for the unknown. So for me, my purpose was my mentality of being on point no matter what gets thrown at me, that I'm not going to get derailed. I'm not going to create stories as to why I can't do something. I'm going to continue on. And so the whole time I'm thinking of my family and how I'm not going to let them down. Very much the same as Warrior, to hold up a photo and say, here's your imagery. I still have that image in my mind to this day. So yeah, the first night you feel accomplished. You got through the day, the sun was up, you did your your physical therapy, your PT, and your MRF, you got those done. And you felt a level of pride, accomplishment that, look, I can do this. And so while you're eating your MRE, sitting in a frigid ice bath, you're contemplating, what are they going to throw at me next? And so you set off into the darkness of the unknown. The same as every day when you get up, the darkness of the unknown of the day is, how am I going to compete? How am I going to win? How am I going to get through it? And so the mentality that you must have is that you're the only one. No one's coming to save you. So everything you do in life is on you. Now, you can learn things. You can take education. You can take, things to make your body stronger. You can take supplements, whatever it is. But you have to decide what you're missing, and most of us won't see that. And so knowing that they're telling you to take in more foods, take in more water, you're going to need it because you don't know what's in front of you. If you don't eat everything, that's a problem, because there might not be food for the next 4 or 5 hours, and you're hiking up a mountain into the darkness. So sometimes you need to follow certain rules, but other times you need to be strong enough to soldier on, so to speak. And so, yeah, that first night of climbing a mountain all night long, you definitely start wondering, like, okay, my family's home in bed. Why the hell am I here? Why am I doing this? Well, take that into business. Every day you go in, you're by yourself, you're doing your own thing. At least in dentistry, you're this introverted perfectionist person. You're doing it alone. Well, you're no different than climbing that mountain. Every day you're climbing a mountain in your business. So how are you going to win? You have to have a mental focus, but you also have to rely on certain things. You have to rely on your training. Where is your training weak? Where do you need to improve upon your training? Where do you find that education? And so again, learning these throughout the night, keeping yourself strong and soldiering on. But, hey, guess what happens? You're coming down the hill and you twist an ankle. Now what? You going to drop out and call it quits? You're going to soldier on? And so there's a lot of things you learn in yourself as far as, where's your stop point? Are you truly committed to your goal? Are you committed to your business? Are you committed to your wife? Where's your commitment? And you're having a lot of these thoughts going through your night, and then the sun rises. The sun rises, and it's like God stretching out his hand saying, you made it through the first night. But guess what? There's a whole nother day in front of you and another night. And so again, that mentality, where's your strength? You need to have a certain type of strength. And it's not just for this. It's a strength in business. When someone gives me grief over some kind of dental work that's unfounded, I have to have some kind of strength. It's something you build. In the past, I didn't have that strength. And so again, going back to Legion, for me to be an individual, it's not about me. Anyone can do what I do. Me, it's a legion. It's a legion of dentists that have changed and transformed into a group, a powerful unit of individuals that recognize these problems and are looking to change them and become better and different. That's the whole goal. And so again, the next day of Kokoro is more beatdowns in the hot sun. In Temecula, it's 100 degrees outside, and we're walking around in full fatigues with weighted backpacks and artificial rifles, going on these brutal hikes and runs and picking up rocks and running with rock. I mean, it is just a massive beatdown. But the whole purpose is to get in your mind and to allow you to explore places you've never been before. And by the time that last night comes and you're running in and out of the ocean and you're fatigued, you haven't slept in 40-something hours, and they're making you get in cold water and literally get tortured by surf coming over your head, and you're being held down by your partners, you start to think a lot of things. Like, why the fuck am I still here? Why the fuck do I do anything? I need to change some things in life and in me. It really brings out a lot in you. And I don't want to share like everything that went on there, but I think each guy definitely, when we got done, had an emotional moment and had found things in themselves and had realized things about their life and their business and their purpose, and things were going to change. And inside of Kokoro, the same as inside of Warrior, they give you some tools, some mindset that they train the SEALs on that allow the SEALs to continue doing what they do. Because let's face it, they do an amazing thing for us in our country to have our freedom. I guarantee there's times where someone would want to question themselves. So to give you those tools to continue on through the fight, that's the tools they instilled in us. And that's what I took away with it, was give me some powerful tools for my mindset so I can be powerful going back into my business world.
Beautiful, beautiful share. Well, man, it's been great to just hear your story. Very inspiring and also very truthful, right? An audience listening, just recognizing each man can recognize himself in every single words that you say here. And you know, we may not have done a Kokoro or this and that, but there's been struggles in our lives where we are forced to find some constraint. There is definitely a worldwide Kokoro right now is taking place called COVID-19 that has affected all of us. Even if you're the guy that says, well, you know, my business has thrived, I never made more money than it, just good for you, man. But 2021, what are you being set up for? Right? And so there was a war that was brought upon our door, upon the door of our house, our children's house, our wife's house. And you know, we survived this war, or we're in a transition to survive in 2020. But the goal is, man, we're not here to survive wars. We're here to win the fucking war. That's the attitude. And so, you know, what do we do now defines how we're going to fucking win 2021 for us in business, in relationships. And relationship is everything, right? Relationship with your body, relationship with your wife, your kids, with God, with the people you lead, relationship with the people that you fucking inspire, that you don't even know you have these energetic cord attached to them, but they are there because they are inspired by what you say, what you do from a distance, and it's only a matter of time to be in their proximity. So yes, time fucks you, but also time loves you. And it's this relation of fuck and love that happens with time, depending on how we show up in it. So any final words, Dr. Snyder, for you know, a guy, a dentist, a man just like you, that chose to go through this? Can you imagine not meeting Garrett? And I'm sure you would have developed your mind some other ways because you're a determined guy. But this has just opened the chapter of simplicity in your life, which is, all right, everything that self-development, all that shit is beautiful. Hold on a second. There's nothing more powerful than a fucking mirror. If I have the balls to keep holding this mirror in front of me and not dodge it and not say later and not say this is stupid or I don't want to feel the thing that I want to fucking avoid feeling. So what would be your message to that person that is listening today, or to the person that would be listening to this because of our audience will just forward it to them? A person just like Dr. Snyder that may be hearing this.
Well, having gone through all this, I look at it now and go, my gosh, had I seen this when I first got out of dental school, or hell, when I was first going into college or going into high school, you can imagine the extrapolation of the learning curve. Let's face it, we're on this planet, we're trying to learn. And the faster you can learn through a mentor or through education, whatever that is, you get to places faster. Had I had this knowledge at a younger age, I can't imagine where I would be right now. But the trajectory of what I've done just in the last 3 years probably would have easily taken me 10 or 20 years. So to have that power, that understanding, the thing that you are missing that you don't even know is there and no one's teaching it that you're aware of, that's what is so amazing about this program, is its ability to take you someplace faster if, as you said, you're willing to be truthful and look in the mirror and see yourself for what it is and call out your own bullshit. And then you must continue on to fight every day for what you want, where a lot of people will fall back into their comfort zone and will stop playing big. I think the biggest thing was the extrapolation of how I could get somewhere faster. And yes, there's a good chance I would have turned a corner at some point, but how long would it take for me to get around that corner? A couple of years? Would it just continue to get worse? Would that destruct and implode my marriage? Where would that have gone? We don't know. And if I should have pulled myself out, would I have anywhere near the knowledge that I have now to propel myself, or would I still be doing kind of similar things at a slow pace? So for me, it's the expansion that happened. Instead of being incremental, it was, exponential, vertical, as far as getting me to someplace faster so I can be more productive and be better for my business, my family, and my life.
Beautiful. Thanks for that share. And thank you for being on the podcast. Appreciate your time. We got a workout to hit, and it's going to include some running, some kettlebells, and some clean. We're going to do power clean. You may not be flexible enough to do some weightlifting, son, but that may be an area that, who knows, maybe
we might expose something today.
You may actually be in a weightlifting championship next year, knowing how crazy you are. You'll just pick up all these challenges. But I do want to thank you for your time being here. You will be back here soon, because we want to know about the update of, this is today, October 2020. 6 months from now, what happens, right? And so you'll be definitely back here. We hear from you. We hear from. Next time, I really want to hear results from legions, right? That's why I want to focus, right? Because yes, you built you, and now you built you for Legion, and Legion is building now. So that would be great. It would be awesome to have Mark here too, and just have this kind of conversation going. So thank you for your time. And gentlemen, thank you for listening to this podcast. Once again, this is not the most popular podcast, and I don't give a flying fuck. But what I do care is that you actually take the message and you forward it to just one other man that you feel that in your life could benefit from the truth that came out of the mouth of Dr. Snyder and what was discussed here. And, if you're watching this on YouTube, you can zoom on Dr. Snyder's eyes, and you can see the tears forming as he's sharing. Listen, man, all the shit that we say here is real. This is real talk. This is not scripted, and there's nothing but the truth that's being told here. And if this truth actually pierces your heart and says "fuck you," well, good for you, because it's time for you to act upon it. Gentlemen, thanks for listening to us, and we look forward seeing all of you guys very soon on the Warrior Podcast as you choose to enter inside the experience known as Warrior Week. Have yourself a fantastic day.